Hello, everybody. This is Ralph Martin from rjqualityconsulting.com. And in this video, I want to discuss why every lab needs an ISO 17025 quality manual template if they are interested in becoming ISO 17025 accredited. As many of you know, I am a certified ISO 17025 assessor, and I do know a thing or two about how to meet the requirements of ISO 17025. And I have written a quality manual template for ISO 17025 that I think would be of value for your laboratory if you are interested in pursuing maybe a shortcut or a good way to prepare your laboratory for an ISO 17025 external audit from an accreditation body, what the auditor would be looking for and that sort of thing. So ISO 17025, the 2017 version of the standard, technically does not require a quality manual. However, it is highly recommended that you have one, and for several reasons. One is that it's a good place, I'm sorry, to house your required policies and procedures that meet the requirements of the standard, and especially the policies, because there are about a half a dozen required policies for ISO 17025, and there are eh, 10 required procedures that ISO 17025 requires, where you'll see some of the phraseology, such as the laboratory shall have a procedure for dot, 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 and that procedure shall include, say, like A through H or something like that. So the quality manual is a good place to show an auditor, how you meet the requirements of the clause elements of the standard. Keeping in mind, when you get assessed by a 17025 external auditor, they use a checklist that is a compilation of all the clause elements of the standard, that has every single clause element basically turned into a question. Instead of the standard saying something like the laboratory shall have a procedure for dot, 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 the assessor's checklist will say, does the laboratory have a procedure for dot, dot, dot? And basically what the auditor is doing is they have this checklist with the ISO clause elements, and they basically want to know, how do you meet section 4.1? How do you meet section 4.2? And when you have a quality manual that is aligned with those quality elements or those clause elements of the standard, it allows the auditors, well, basically, you're making the auditor's job easier. When you, whatever makes a happy auditor makes for a better results in your audit. It's just plain and simple. If you make the auditor's job easy by letting them look at your quality manual and he can go, oh, I see. This is how you meet the requirements of section 4.1. Show me this document that you reference. And it becomes very easy, not only for the auditor, but when you're doing an internal audit or you're training somebody in your staff to do an internal audit, and you give them the quality manual that's aligned with the clause elements of the standard, it makes the internal auditor's job easier. It makes the external auditor's job easier. And it comes for the result is a more successful audit, whether that be internal audit or an external audit. The fewer nonconformities, the more likely you're going to get your accreditation certificate. And also the benefits of having a organized quality management system. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, in the description box, I'll have a link to this blog post that I just wrote on why every lab needs an ISO 17025 quality manual template. And you could read all of the benefits and some good details on the advantages of having a quality manual aligned this way, where, section 4.1 of your standard is all about impartiality, which aligns with section 4.1 of the standard, which is all about impartiality, and so forth, between clauses 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is really the heart of the standard. Clauses 1, 2, and 3 are pretty much definitions and things like that, which isn't really audited. But anyway, so if you read through this article that I wrote, it talks about, first of all, what ISO 17025 means for the lab, why it's important. And also, I do offer a quality manual template that I wrote. So it's a quality manual template written by a certified ISO 17025 auditor. It is roughly somewhere between 56 and 59 pages of all the requirements of the standard. And what's really cool about it is you can plug it in to meet your laboratory's needs. It really is customizable to fit any laboratory. It just really is a matter of plugging in the laboratory name, maybe some of the key responsibilities, an org chart, and that's about it. It will meet all the requirements of a standard and give you a good template where you can follow. There really is a shortcut to creating your quality management system. Now, the reason I wrote this, one of the reasons why I wrote this article, besides the fact that I do get a lot of my readers asking me, what are the advantages of having a quality manual? And I wanted to mention that it is the month of May. I am having a May Madness sale on my quality manual template where I offer a 50% discount on my quality manual. The quality manual is normally $49. I'll give you a 50% discount if you buy it during the month of May. And also, it will reference all of the required policies and procedures for ISO 17025. And there is a one-time upgrade offer where you can get all of the required policies and procedures that meet the requirements of the ISO IEC 17025 2017 version, the standard. When you do the one-time upgrade for an additional $49, you get all those policies and procedures. And as a bonus, you get all of the required forms that you would need to implement the standard. So basically, if you were to purchase the quality manual and all of the procedures and get all the forms, you'll have all of the documentation that is necessary to meet the requirements of the standard to where you can basically just implement, go ahead and have an internal audit, conduct a management review, and go ahead and schedule your ISO 17025 external assessment, and you'll be ready. And you just need to implement what the template says to do and just, do it. It's a it's an extreme shortcut to get your lab ready for not only the internal audit but the external audit as well. And you can just go ahead and click on access the template. You'll see my crazy video on the details of the what you get with the manual. I won't go through it with this video. It literally shows you what the manual looks like, exactly what you get, so that you don't get surprised what you're going to get after you make the purchase. You'll know what you get before you make the purchase, and you'll see examples of some of the high quality policies and procedures and forms that I give with the upgrade. So basically, you get 50% discount on the quality manual template. Normally $49.95, you'll get a 50% discount on that. And then when you take the upgrade, it'll be an additional $49 for all of the required policies, procedures, and forms. There are roughly about, I'd say, 25 documents that you get with the procedure and forms and policies as the upgrade offer. So go ahead and as you're reading this blog article, click on access the template and it'll take you to a page in a video that describes what you'll get, and then you can make the purchase in a checkout cart. Now, basically, this article talks about some of the advantages of using a template like this. Now, keep in mind, I have seen a lot of templates on the market, and the average price for a quality manual template with all of the procedures is anywhere between $700 and $1,400. I created this from scratch, and I am giving you a really good deal on this. Trust me, it is basically the same type of system I use for my consulting company or consulting laboratories that hire me to get them ready for ISO 17025. I basically use these templates to customize their um, management system that's specific to their lab. So it is a good template. I've used it, I've audited it, and it works. So this will talk about streamlining compliance. It also talks about the advantages of having better consistency and accuracy within your quality management system itself. And then how an ISO 17025 quality manual template streamlines the audit process. And what I mean by the audit process is both internal audits and external audits that I alluded to earlier. And this explains why this is so, why an external auditor finds these types of quality manuals very easy to follow, and it makes their auditing easier. And it also helps the laboratory staff to understand the quality management system and the standard. So if you want to teach somebody the details of the standard without having to read through a dry standard, have them read your quality manual because it's more specific to your laboratory. Thus, they get an understanding of how your internal quality management system actually works and how it meets the requirements of the standard and what documentation is used for objective evidence for an auditor to review to prove that you meet the requirements of the standard, that objective evidence that is so necessary during an audit. You would also, like I said, improve staff training and onboarding. If you're onboarding, for example, if you're replacing your quality manager because he won the lottery or quit or whatever, moved on, you can use this quality manual that's been designed as a teaching tool for the quality manager to get a better understanding of how your laboratory meets the requirements of the standard. And then we talk about making continuous improvements easier because you have a foundational quality management system in place and it allows for continual improvement, which is, by the way, a requirement of the standard that you implement continuous improvement. And then increased customer confidence because they see that you are following the standard in the proper clause element sequence and you have all of the required policies, procedures, and forms and records associated with the standard, especially for those laboratories where the customer is auditing you as well as your external accreditation body. Some laboratories actually have customers that audit them. This will allow you, to choose the right ISO 17025 template. There's a lot of junk out there. Believe me, I've seen them, I've purchased them, I've used them, and which is one of the reasons that motivated me to write a really good, in-depth quality manual template along with the required procedures that I know an auditor would find value with because I am an auditor and I audit laboratories all of the time. So then I have a frequently asked questions section that you can read through. How often should the quality manual get updated? Does using a template mean our manual will be cookie cutter and not fit our lab? If you have a good quality manual template, the answer to that would be no, because you are customizing it to your laboratory's needs. And the requirements of the standard are the requirements of the standard. And unless the standard changes, your manual won't change. So the it will definitely help you get accredited. And then, folks, I also offer a 45-minute free consultation for any laboratory that wants to understand the standard better or may have questions about how do I get from, no quality management system to getting an accreditation certificate from an accreditation body that is ILAC approved and things like that. And you can go ahead, just click this button, and you can schedule a free 45-minute consultation with me. And then also, I do have other resources on here on my website. You can also download my free internal audit checklist and gap analysis tool. It's an awesome tool that you could use for your internal audit records. It is structured just like this quality manual template, clause by clause. It's a checklist that you can use for your internal audit records, and it works awesome as a gap analysis tool. And what's really cool about this checklist is I give you step-by-step instructions on how to use it, and it would be also a great training tool for a new hire. So go ahead and click on the link below if you want to access the quality manual template. Take a look at the video that's on the checkout page to get more details, and you can book a free 45-minute consultation. So there will basically be 3 links under this video. You'll be able to do a 45-minute consultation. You can check out my quality manual template, and then you can also download my free ISO 17025 internal audit checklist and gap analysis tool. So also, if you have any questions about how to use my checklist, and you fill out the form here, you'll get my contact information, and I am just an email away. And that is another benefit if you get the quality manual template. Not only will you get all the documentation you need, but you do get email support from myself on how to use the template and all of that. So it is definitely a great deal. This is Ralph Martin signing out. You make it a great day.